Hey guys, what is going on? I'm Dakota Hoyle. I'm here with another video for my online teaching blog that's been going on. Hopefully everybody's being safe with the coronavirus. Before we get started, please make sure to blow up the like and subscribe button for my YouTube channel so you can stay in touch and follow me along as I make my journey into online teaching. Today's video is all about Google Forms and how to automate some of your online grading to make your life easier and your students' life easier. This is a special shout out to one of my coworkers. He was very interested in how Google Form works and how you can automate it to help his life be a lot easier with grading. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so Google Forms is very robust. You can pretty much, I've seen people use it as a remediation tool where if the kid or student gets a question wrong, it'll take them to a different section where there's videos where the student can learn why they got that question wrong and they can go back through it, all the way to simple surveys, to quizzes, to worksheets. You can insert pictures, videos, what have you into it. It's an amazing cloud-based software that Google offers with its Google Suite. On my screen, as you can see, I actually already created a Google Form worksheet, focal length and easy guide to understanding. In this worksheet, I actually have it set up to where it will auto grade all of my multiple choice questions. But before we get started, I want to actually take you guys through how to set up your basic questions and so on and so forth. So over here, I actually created another untitled form. This is when you first go into Google Drive, you left click in the top corner where it says create, choose a Google form. This is where it comes up first. So I'm just going to name my form test 1, give a description, students, if I can spell correctly, students, please fill out this corresponding worksheet for the video you watched. If I can spell. Okay, first off, I always have it where first name. I always put required because sometimes if you don't, students will forget to do this, and then you're looking at on the back end where you're grading stuff, you're looking at like, I don't know who this is. In my district, we use a identifying number for each student, and with the way students log in, I can set my Google form up to automatically pull that information from them. However, it doesn't show their name, so all I'd be looking at is a bunch of 88 numbers, as we call them, and it's just ridiculously hard to grade. So I always make sure to put required. If you notice, as I was typing in first name, Google automatically changed my question type from multiple choice or multiple guess, if you don't study, to short answer. You can do paragraph, check boxes, drop down. You can even have it to where your students can upload files, linear scale, multiple choice, grid, checkbox, date, and time. Down here, you can also duplicate. You can delete. Far right is you can add question, import questions, add title, description, add image, insert a video, and then you can add sections. Adding sections is what we talked about earlier with if the student got this question wrong, for example, well, and hopefully they don't get their first name wrong, but say a focal length, they got that question wrong, it would actually take them out of the quiz to a different part of the form where there would be a video for the student to watch. Then they would answer the question again, and then it would take them back into the quiz. That way, by the time the students are done, they've already remediated and fixed any misconceptions that they've had from the lesson. So once you're done, you can duplicate this question. I do this all the time. Duplicate, and then I put in the last name. This just makes your life easier when on the back end you want to sort the list name, sort your Google Sheet grading, so it's just easier for you to do. Next, I always do my class period. You notice 1, it'll actually start to automatically suggest stuff. It knows that I teach 1 through 6. Hit required. Multiple choice is fine. I mean, technically, you could actually, if you wanted to, do a drop down, and then it would show up as they would click on it and they would see their selections, and you can just select it. Okay, so drop down, I got first name, last name, class period. For this, I'm just going to go over to my other quiz. I'm just going to copy it over, so Control C. So I created a new question. I'm going to have it multiple choice. You type in your question, what is the name for the amount of space you see on the image plane? Google was trying to say, hey, Hoyle, this is probably a short answer. However, here's the deal. If it's short answer or long answer, or any types of those questions, Google Forms will not automatically grade it for you. So just keep that in mind. So multiple choice, option 1, distance, field of view. Okay. Point of view. Length of plane. Okay. So I just created a normal 4 answer question. Hit required. Make your life easier, make the students, like, they're busy. Sometimes my kids will, if I don't put required on a question, they'll run through it and they'll forget something and they'll get it wrong and they get upset. So I always hit required for everything. That way, if you try to submit it, it'll boot you back to what you missed and tell you to fix it. But just because you put in the answers, though, doesn't mean Google is going to grade it. Your next step is you need to, first off, we need to actually, I forgot to do this, we need to change this form from survey mode into quiz mode. So to do that, you go to the little gear in the top right corner. First off, I choose collect email addresses. The reason why I do that is so it can pull in my students' information, their 88 number, and so on and so forth. And I can also limit this to one quiz, or one answer. Restrict users, CCPS, that's who we use. I respondents, that means they can edit after submit. If it's a quiz, I don't want them to do that. If it's a worksheet, then yes, because what if they didn't finish it on time? I always have them hit submit, and then they can go back in and change stuff around later on. See summary charts and text responses. That means students will be able to see everybody else's answer, and I don't want to do that. But presentation, that's all fine. If you want to shuffle question order, you can. Quizzes is the most important part. You need to make sure to make this a quiz. If you're on a Chromebook, and this is important for my staff members that are using Chromebooks at home, you can turn it into lock mode. And what that does is students aren't able to open up multiple tabs when they're taking this quiz. Later, after manual review, turns on email collections. And then again, you want to make sure respondents can see missed questions, correct answers, point of value. Normally, what I'll do is, if it's a quiz, and in this case, the kids are at home, I would leave these on and have it set up for 1. However, if I'm like in the classroom, right, kids like to try and share answers and stuff like that. So just be careful. Respondents, they can see what they missed, correct answers, so on and so forth. So the big important thing is make this a quiz. So press save. And now at the bottom, you're going to see a new option that's selected, and that's called answer key. Click on that, and then you adjust the points, like 1 point. And what is the distance of the amount of space you see on an image plane? That is field of view. And you can press done. However, if you notice, though, maybe there's more than one answer, you can actually choose which answer is correct. The other thing is, if you're maybe, like, I make mistakes all the time, I'll be flying through stuff. I might select the wrong answer as the correct answer. You can go after students have done, I'm like, why did all my students get this question wrong? You can go back in afterwards, fix the correct answer, and then it'll automatically update in the response section and mark those correct for you. So press done. And then that's pretty much it. If you want to add in images, you can, just like you would in Google Classroom, video, same thing, YouTube, URL, you can watch the other video on how to do that, add sections, so on and so forth. You can actually set it up to, you can set it up to where this section can go in, like right here after section 1, continue to the next section. You can choose, if the student got this question wrong, they would move into this section. It gets really, really complex, but this is just the basics that I'm going over with. So this is basic quiz that you can do. So I'm going to take you over to one that's completed and that I've actually just done some test responses with, so you can see what it looks like on the back side of this. So let's go over to my focal length. Up at the top, you're going to see responses. There's 2 of them, and this is what it looks like. So summary, you can see how well everybody did. Right now, it looks like I did really, really bad, and that's because not all the questions in my quiz are multiple choice. A lot of them are essay responses, so I actually have to go in and manually grade that, so keep that in mind. It'll tell you frequently missed questions, so you can kind of, okay, I need to make sure to go back and hit that with my students. Scores, it tells me the email, but with the case with my district, it's student 88 numbers, not their names. So that's the reason why I put first and last name. Responses, first name, last name, class periods, and then what is the name for the amount of space you see on the image. And you can see which question or which answer students selected most. And then here's my essays. You can copy the chart in, so on and so forth. If you go up to question, though, you can go into one ungraded response. That's me. Question 2, first name, last name. Let me go to one of my essay questions. So right here, like, okay, one of my students got this wrong. I can go in and say, hey, make sure to go back to this section, or here's a link to this video. Watch this again so you can understand why field of view is the amount of space you see on the image plane. Essay, I can mark it correct or not. Apparently, I did amazing with this answer, so I'm going to do 1 point. More correct. Add feedback. Hey, make sure you check your spelling next time. Use complete sentences. The other option is, once you're done with that, you can go into individual. Of course, it's not going to let me. It froze. Oh, I got to save first. Go into individual, and then you can grade it by student, and it'll actually tell you the grade up here, how many points out of 30, for example, and then you can release the score back to the student. My other option that I love to do is you click on like the little for sale sign green little button that creates a Google spreadsheet. You click on it, create new, and it will name it pretty much the same name as your form. Press create, give it a minute, and then this will update in real time with the responses. So email address, the score. Apparently I messed up. I don't know why I did that question. So first name, last name, class period. You can see what the question was and go through there. So like a lot of times when I'm grading stuff, I'll actually take this spreadsheet and I'll sort it by class period and then last name, and then I can just go through. We use Focus to grade, and I can just go through real fast, type in the numbers after I'm all done grading. You can also download this as a CSV file, if I remember correctly, and then with Focus, you can upload that CSV file, and it'll automatically insert the grades in. I haven't personally messed with that, but I know it is possible. You just have to watch another video to figure out how to do that, because I'll be honest, my knowledge base on how to upload the CSV file into Focus correctly is very limited. But anyways, this is the short of it on how to create a Google form, how to set it up for grading, how to grade it, and so on and so forth. So I hope this helps you guys. Stay tuned for the next video.